Stick to ice cream. Not gonna lie, we get this one a lot.
Yeah, we're in the ice cream business, but we've always been about much more than just ice cream. We use our power, our privilege, our platform, and our relationship with our fans to advocate for progressive social change. So now,
Ana Kasparian reporting on woke Ben & Jerry's CEO being ousted for being too progressive. Okay, so we know that we've heard about this issue with the woke this, the woke mob. You know how much I hate that term, the woke. But anyway, so Ana Kasparian is reporting on this story, and this is quite the shocker for different reasons, but I'll get into that. So let's go ahead and get into this clip of Ana Kasparian demolishing the woke, demolishing progressives. But really at the end, she does come to understand that, like, this is really not a good look.
we're not just going to stick to ice cream.
Being an activist company is who we are.
And we know our fans wouldn't want it any other way. Because while we love making the best possible ice cream in the best possible way, the world needs more than just great ice cream.
Well, Ben & Jerry's parent company, Unilever, wanted it another way. And the other way that they wanted it was, please, no more activism. We don't like it. We don't want it. We reject it. And as a result, they have fired the CEO of Ben & Jerry's. They informed their board that they were getting rid of him. And it's because of the fact that he wanted to continue the, social justice messaging and political messaging and activism that Ben & Jerry's, an ice cream company, is known for. So basically, Ben & Jerry's is fighting back against their own parent company, Unilever. They filed a suit in federal court, writing in a filing on Tuesday that Unilever told its board in early March that they were getting rid of Ben & Jerry's CEO, David Stever, who has been with the company for more than 30 years. Ben & Jerry's claims that Stever's firing was a violation of its merger agreement with Unilever, which states that any decisions regarding a CEO's removal must come after a consultation with an advisory committee from Ben & Jerry's board.
So we need to ask why they decided to do this now, right? Look. I didn't appreciate Ben & Jerry's when they came out with the whole, we need to give America back to the indigenous. And I was like, y'all are tripping, right? But it didn't change the fact that at the end of the day, they can say whatever they want, and in the way, if you really don't like what they're saying, just don't buy their ice cream. It didn't bother me that much. I mean, I didn't like it, but I didn't lose sleep over it. However, these kind of un-American type of statements, and it is un-American, the whole bit went with the woke, where it's like white people are classically the bad guy, and colonization and woo and all of that. That was perfectly fine. So why all of a sudden did this man get fired? This is a huge step, and he's been in the company for 30 years. So let's see if we get to the point here.
Now, the board did ask Unilever for some time and in order to look over notes related to their decision, but Unilever refused those requests. And so what exactly did Stever do to bring this on? Well, Stever was chastised in his 2025 performance review for repeatedly acquiescing to the demands of the Independent Social Mission Board and letting Ben & Jerry's post the group's statements, the filing said. So Stever apparently failed to comply with Unilever's efforts to silence the social mission, so he was fired. Again, I can understand this if it's like a company that isn't known for promoting social justice causes, but that's always been part of, Ben & Jerry's, their branding, what they do. So it's not like this is something that Stever's did out of nowhere. It's not like he went out and made some offensive comments about a political issue.
But I think that he has done that before and he never got fired. I'm pretty sure that I could go back and look at Ben & Jerry's tweets of trans rights and all of that kind of stuff, right? Because trans people simply just don't have rights like everybody else. So if something happens to a trans person, then, there's not going to be any cops to come help them because they're trans, right? Is that the problem? I don't know. This company is extremely woke, right? We know this. So now there's a tipping point. By the way, you guys, if you like the videos, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on this video.
This filing comes after an amendment to the lawsuit Ben & Jerry's filed against Unilever last year that accused them of suppressing statements in support of Palestinians. Here's a little reminder about that. Ben & Jerry's said in their lawsuit that it has tried to call for a ceasefire, support the safe passage of Palestinian refugees to Britain, back students protesting at U.S. colleges against civilian deaths in Gaza, and advocate for a halt in U.S. military aid to Israel. This is the statement. I'm going to read it to you again. This is the statement they wanted to release that their parent company lost it over. Ben & Jerry's calls for peace and a permanent and immediate ceasefire.
They literally think peace is controversial. It's so controversial.
They think that's anti-Semitic. They think that is anti-Semitic.
Peace.
I want to stop it right here for you to let that marinate and understand what she just said there. Right? I'm not going to make any bones about it or make any disclaimers. I told you about these subjective terms, okay? Ben & Jerry's was allowed to say anything else they wanted about America. But as soon as they went against a different nation, the CEO was fired. And it was subjectively stated that it is anti-S to ask for peace. Okay? I'm not here to convince anybody about anything. You go ahead and you marinate on that. And you can do the math and see how far this goes.
This is anti-Semitic, and that's where we are today.
We got to get money out of politics. Number one.
No, that's not the answer. And this is why I can't stand weak people. It's not get money out of politics. Get out of here. Like I told y'all, I'm sorry. I'm still kind of like that 80s big shoulder pads kind of like Republican where I'm like, what? Like, if it's American companies fighting for the good of America, but one company can do something better for America than the other, why not lobby? Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. However, when it is obvious and we can see that there are people working for other countries, right, that needs to be extracted. And I mean any country. But we know, I don't like doing the I mean any country, but we know the country that nobody was, people are like, oh yeah, that's how I feel about all countries. Yeah, but there's only one that like everybody's afraid to name or whatever. But I mean, if this is what they want, okay.
And yeah, I mean, we're living in scary times. It really feels like you're not allowed to say anything favorable about the Palestinian people. Some asshole emailed me today and was like, disgusted by my criticism toward the Israeli government and asked me if I had any concern at all about the civilians that were slaughtered by the hands of Hamas. First of all, I lost my shit over that on the show. I was disgusted by that and I condemned that in the strongest terms possible. But how about the slaughter of far more Palestinian civilians by the Israeli Defense Force? Does that matter at all? Am I allowed to talk about that, or is the Gestapo going to show up to arrest me for talking about it?
They probably will, and there's nothing people will do about it. So the problem is that people don't understand the statutes of laws and how they work. They just go by their emotions, okay? So at the end of the day, the Patriot Act is the Patriot Act, okay? And it can be subjectively applied however they want to, all right? If they decide that they're going to apply the Patriot Act to people who are talking about the island of Fiji, then guess what? You are now is somebody who, you know, is against America because of how you talk about Fiji, okay? These type of infringements on our rights, on our lives, everything, they're not going away. They're still here because what happens is that these very emotionally charged subjects such as Palestine get brought up, and people on the right automatically think like, oh, that's the leftist. And then this is when I just think like we're just not serious enough and we just aren't ready. We have to again watch the same Patriot Act that they did use on Muslims, you know, right after 9/11, that they then used on J6ers, right? And that they now will use again, like on the other side. Don't you get it? The government, you're not supposed to trust the government. They're going to come back and use it on you too. And it's not about, well, I'm Trump. It's not about that. The government is the government. There's more than one people working it. It's not just Trump. Okay. So that's for everybody else, everybody to marinate on. Like it is not. Look, that's all I can say. It is what it is. It's not. It is what it is. But I don't know what people want. I know people get tired of this subject, right? But to me, under this guise of anti-Semitism, they will be able to get away. The government will be able to get away with whatever they want, and everybody's too scared to be called the name to do anything about it. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.